We have an NHL trade to announce between the Maple Leafs and the Blackhawks. We'll discuss the details coming up next. So welcome back to another video here at Top Shelf Hockey. As I mentioned, we do have a trade to talk about here today. It's not a huge trade by any means, a smaller minor league deal, but both these players could find roles and garner NHL time. This would not be one bit surprising at all, but the Maple Leafs have traded big forward Kurtis Gabriel, who they signed as a free agent this past offseason, to Chicago in exchange for prospect defenseman Krys. Now, Gabriel's 28 years old, 6'4", 200 pounds. I know some Leaf fans were certainly quite pleased when he was signed as a UFA this past offseason. Thought he might get more of an opportunity to play like a fourth line role. Not really being an enforcer, but certainly be that guy who's willing to add some grit, toughness, drop the gloves when necessary, that kind of thing. Obviously, they have a guy like Wayne Simmons who can do that a bit. They picked up Kyle Clifford, so I guess they're feeling with the way Gabriel's played and with the other guys they have that I guess they felt he was expendable. Obviously, they didn't intend on bringing him back likely for next year. But he is a guy who was originally drafted in the third round back in 2013. He's only played 49 NHL games with 3 different franchises, including Minnesota, who he was originally drafted by, as well as the Devils. And he spent last year with the San Jose Sharks. Like I said, this year, signed with the Leafs, but he's been in the American Hockey League with the Marlies the entire time. I mean, he did get some preseason action. I thought maybe he would have a shot at making the roster, but they have a lot of depth forwards there to pick from, and he ultimately was not included in that, sent to the minors, and here we are now. He's traded to Chicago. In return, they get 23-year-old left shot defenseman Krys, who was originally a second-round pick back in 2016, played a few years of college hockey at Boston University, so he did not sign right away. He just completing the third year of his first pro contract, his entry-level deal, at which he spent the entire time in the American Hockey League. Of course, last year did very little game action, considering that there was not a lot of hockey being played, and he had very limited action because of that. So he doesn't really have a ton of pro games under his belt. Given the fact he's 23, maybe he could still develop into something, although at this point, I don't see him projected to be a regular NHL defenseman, but he could be somebody, in the next little while that could be potentially available for call-up or whatnot. I mean, the Maple Leafs at this point are certainly trying to add some depth on the blue line for sure, so I understand the deal. They have more than enough forwards. They could use some help on the blue line. Obviously, this is a real easy swap for somebody who they didn't foresee being a part of the future. So it's just as simple as that. Both these guys will report to their American Hockey League franchises with their new teams. So Gabriel will go to Rockford, Krys will go to the Marlies, and we'll see where this goes. But I wouldn't be shocked to see either possibly get time in the NHL. Gabriel, I think, is more likely this year, but Krys could become something for the Leafs. We'll have to wait and see after this season. They still have a lot of hockey left this year. If they're pleased with them, they can re-sign them. If not, they're not forced to qualify them, and they can let them become a UFA and move on if they chose to go down that road, if they feel that's best, just to have the flexibility, their roster and contract spot on their franchise opened up instead. So we'll see where this goes. I know a lot of fans were quite happy with the Gabriel signing in the offseason, so especially if you're a Leaf fan and a Gabriel fan, I'd love to know what your thoughts are on this trade down in the comments. Let me know your thoughts. We'll discuss further. If you're new to this channel, make sure you subscribe and stick around. We'll keep you up to date with all the latest news, rumors, and analysis on all 32 NHL teams. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you next time.